Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. I have the really beautiful Adept Cosmetics Flying Fiddles palette right here. This really beautiful lace material. And then look at these absolutely stunning, gorgeous shades. The shimmers in this palette are just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I will be including swatches as well as some swatches in natural lighting, and I will be doing 3 different looks with this palette, so I want to make sure that I'm using every single shade in the palette before I give my final thoughts. So if all of that sounds interesting, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we have the beautiful Adept Cosmetics Flying Fiddles palette, and this material is like this really stunning lace material that they put on it, which is really nice, like really nice and textured. Then of course, when we open it up, we have these really beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous shifty shades, sparkly shades. Now, of course, by the time I'm swatching this palette, I have already done my look, so that's why you can see where the shimmer shades have already been dug into. But I'm going to go ahead and do some swatches. I'm just going to put on some little elevator music, and we're going to get these swatches done. And there you have this palette all swatched out. So beautiful. Also, that in the middle here, that was a bruise. I had a bruise on my arm, don't know where it come from. And I'm just going to insert a clip right here showing these swatches in natural lighting, so you're not just seeing them under a ring light. I'm going to start with the shade Tan Toffee Rose on a blending brush from e.l.f. And I'm going to start running that into my crease. I dipped in a few times to this shade, not too much. I didn't know how pigmented it might be. I haven't done full-on swatches of this palette yet. It's a really rainy, dark day here, so I probably won't be doing the swatches today since I do like to include swatches in natural lighting, and there's really none right now, so I'll be doing the swatches in the future. Of course, by the time you're seeing the application, you have already seen the swatches if you watched that portion of the video. Then on that same brush, I'm going to take the shade Green Kelly. I didn't pick up too much. I'm just going to stamp this on this outer corner. It's a pretty shade. And really stamp that in and really press it into that crease right here before I go back and blend. Just want to make sure that all of the pigment is off the brush. And then start blending around the edge of that shade. Okay, I'm going to go in with the shade Scorpion Grass on a concealer brush from e.l.f. and I will be spraying my brush with some setting spray. I'm going to place that shade right in the center. Ooh, that is beautiful. Of course, I expected nothing less. This brand has amazing shimmers. Oh wow, that is gorgeous. Then on that same brush, I'm going to take the shade Honey Spurge, and I'm going to spray my brush with setting spray for this shade too. And these would apply really beautifully with your finger too, but I just wanted a more precise application, so that's why I wanted to use a brush. I mean, that is so absolutely gorgeous. Just wow. So we're going to move on to this eye now. Okay, I'm going to take the shade Sahara on a blending brush from e.l.f. And I'm going to run that in my crease over on this side. Okay, so I just took this really large fluffy brush with a skin tone eyeshadow and really diffused that out because it was just looking a little too dark for my liking for my crease. So that's all I did. And ignore this right here if you can see that. I have an under the skin breakout and it's kind of purple, so that has nothing to do with the eyeshadow. Then I'm going to take the shade Daylily on that same brush and press that right here on this outer corner. Doing the same thing I did with the deep green shade on the other side. Just kind of pressing it in, getting all the pigment off the brush before I blend it out. And then once all that pigment's off my brush, I'm just going to go around the edge here and blend it out even further. Okay, I've really been struggling to blend this out over here. This brand shines more, in my opinion, with their shimmer shades than they do their mattes. I'm having a lot of trouble with that shade. Those two shades just, I don't know. Now, like I said, this out here is just part of that pimple, but I just feel like they're not blending out as easily as these did over here. I don't know if it's just because they've got that more purple undertone to them and they're just, I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of what's going on over here, but I've been trying to pack on more eyeshadow, and then I feel like when I blend, it just kind of wants to blend away and get a little bit messy. Because you can see how patchy it looks right in here. So I think this brand shines more with their shimmer formula, for being honest here. But really, going forward, those shades like this shade and this shade right here are more on the deeper side. I tend not to use deeper shades that much, so they would probably in the future just be used as liner shades. I just wanted to use them for the sake of this video, but they're not shades that I probably would use on my eyes in this capacity, because I just don't really like working with deeper shades for me. I just prefer much more softer shades for myself. But we're just going to move on from that. There's really nothing I can do without starting the look over, so we're just going to move on to the shimmer shades. Okay, we're going to take the shade Blue Crown on a concealer brush from e.l.f. and I will be spraying my brush with some setting spray. You can kind of see that shift a little bit when I do that. Hopefully you'll be able to see the shifts better when I do swatches. Put this shade in the center here. Got that blue to purple shift, so it matches that shade I put on the outer corner really well. Using that same brush, I'm going in with the shade Yellow Bronwyn, and I'll be spraying my brush with setting spray for this shade too. And we'll put this shade right here on this innermost corner. That's pretty. Their shimmer shades are gorgeous. So I'm just going to quickly do my mascara and some lashes. I think I'm going to wear false eyelashes today. Yeah, I think I will. And I'll come right back and do the lower lash line. Okay, I did end up putting on some false eyelashes. I just feel like these looks really needed a false eyelash. So I'm using the Ioni Halfling lashes in long, foxy, crisscross half lashes. They come in a packaging that looks like that. You can pick these up at Dollar Tree. Okay, I'm going to take the shade Meadow Foam on a small angled brush from e.l.f. and I will be spraying my brush with some setting spray. Okay, and then I'm going to take that and run that all along my lower lash line on this side. Oh, the shimmers in this palette are amazing. This brand kills it when it comes to these shimmer formulas. Look how pretty that is. Then I'm going to take the shade Daffodil using that same brush and I'll be spraying it again with some setting spray. This shade is going on this side, on the lower lash line, all the way across. Okay, here are looks number 1 and 2, all done. Okay, so now we're going to move on to look number 3. I think I'm only going to do one more look with this palette because that way I'll be used all the shades in the palette and I'll be able to definitely give my final thoughts. So on to the next look. I'm going to start with the shade Tan Toffee Rose on a blending brush from e.l.f. And I'm just going to start running that into my crease. I wore those two looks yesterday all day long, and of course I have used Adept Cosmetics before. I have one other palette from them and it performed just as beautifully. The shades didn't fade throughout the day or anything like that. It didn't do anything weird. The shimmers in this palette are absolutely stunning. The mattes are okay, but I feel like I would more so go to this brand for the shimmers, and then I probably more than likely would pull a matte shade from a different palette. Now this shade I'm using right now, I really like this one. This would be my favorite matte shade in this palette, but just going forward, like just using this on a regular basis, I would probably pull a matte shade from like a more, you know, one of my more neutral palettes and then use the shimmers from this one. Okay, and then I'm going to take the shade Pompon Button, I believe is how you say that. I'm going to take that on a concealer brush from e.l.f. and I will be spraying my brush with some setting spray. And I'm just going to pack this shade on this outer corner. I'm using a brush because I want to have more of a precise application because I have quite a few shimmers left in this palette to try. There are 5 left, so I want to make sure I'm using all of them. That is one stunning green sparkly shade. Just wow. Gosh, the shimmers in this palette are incredible. Okay, and on that same brush, I'm going to take this shade right here, and I am not sure how to say that, Erisama. I am not sure how to say that. But I'm going to take this shade on that same brush, and I will be spraying my brush with some setting spray again. Okay, and that shade will go right in this center. Oh. My goodness. This is one beautiful palette, like wow. Adept, I know you will never see this video, but you have outdone yourself with these shimmer shades. They are absolutely gorgeous. Same brush, I'm going in with the shade Dahlia. You can kind of see how that like shifts to this really beautiful green. So lovely. And I'll spray my brush with setting spray again. Ooh, just gonna pop that right here and... You know, a part of me wants every single one of Adept's palettes now simply for the shimmers. They're beautiful. Okay, I'm just going to quickly recreate that on my other eye and do the rest of my face makeup off camera, and I'll come right back to do the lower lash line. Okay, I'm going to take the shade Rust Bunny on a small angled brush from e.l.f. And I did spray my brush with some setting spray. And I'm just going to drag that on this outer half of my lower lash line. Then I'm going to take the shade Viola Bronze on the same brush, and I'm going to spray my brush again with setting spray. That shade I'm going to drag right here on this innermost part, connecting it with that other shade in the middle. And there is the final look all done. Okay, just right quick, what's on the rest of my face? I'll have everything listed and linked for you below, but for my blush and my bronzer and highlighter and everything, I'm just using the Hourglass palette. This is the leopard one, the one that was released last year. If you bought these the way they came, this was Color Story 2. And then for my lips, which I am loving this lip combo. This is the Tower 28 one-liner multi-liner in the shade Draw Me, and then over the top of that I have the Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jelly in the shade Oat. I mean, I love the combo of that. It kind of reminds me of that, what was that trend going around maybe a couple of months ago, or maybe it was last month, I'm not sure, the cherry cola lip trend. This kind of reminds me of that. Oh, and the lashes I'm wearing, I forgot to mention those, are from Ioni. These are the 3D faux mink lashes. They're from their Zodiac collection, which were Virgo, Wispy Natural Flare. They just come in a packaging like that. But I believe the Wispy Natural Flare are available all the time just in regular packaging. But just right quick, let's just discuss this Flying Fiddles palette. This palette, the shimmers in here are absolutely gorgeous. If you pick up this palette, I don't think you'd be disappointed at all with the shimmer shades. They are absolutely beautiful. The matte shades are okay. They're fine. I really like this shade the most. This would probably be, I think this Tan Toffee Rose would probably be my most favorite shade, but then this shade performed really well. I did struggle with these two shades, but that could have been just me. I tend to not really work a lot with darker matte shades. It's just not really my preference. Honestly, for like this outer portion of my lid, I'd much rather work with like a deeper shimmer shade like I did today. I just think that's just easier for me to apply. I don't know. I think that's more of a personal preference thing, but all in all, I just think this palette is absolutely beautiful for the shimmer shades. If you're someone that loves those beautiful, shifty, sparkly shimmer shades, then I really don't think you'd be disappointed at all with this palette. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really happy to have it in my collection. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already, and please make sure to follow me over on Instagram at Jessica Dearly, and I hope to see you in my next video.